It's been said that it takes a community to raise a child. From the miracle of birth until the golden years, there's a community system you can count on. Trinity Health System, a community with centers of excellence. Trinity Heart Center, Orthopedic and Spine Center, Women's Health and Birth Center, and Tony Terramana Cancer Center treat the most complex health issues. A community of rehabilitative services and a spiritual support staff treating the whole person. Trinity's quest to be the best simply puts us above everywhere in the region.
I'm here with innocent football coach Mike McKenzie talking about this week's game with St. Clairsville. But before we talk about the Friday night game, this is your 5th year, and I know over the summer you instituted a new program to kids to work harder to get their to actually earn their shoulder pads and the weight and the rest of their pads. Can you tell me what was the impetus behind getting that started?
We needed, we thought that we needed a better commitment out of our kids. We needed 100% commitment. I think every year we've had a group of kids that were very committed, but it wasn't a team-wide commitment. And we needed to figure out what kids were going to be committed, and we needed 100% of our team to be committed. And that was the thoughts behind it. And I think we've seen that. I know that it cost us a few kids. I'm sure there were some kids that didn't come out because of that, but we ended up with a team full of kids that were committed. We knew that they weren't going to quit, and we knew that they were going to be there the whole time. So it's worked out real well for us.
Did you bounce that off some of the coaches, or did you decide that since you're the head coach, you would just?
I basically decided that we were going to do it, and it was. I took a combination of different, talking to different coaches, and in the winter as we were out doing our clinics and stuff, I talked to different coaches and kind of took different ideas and grouped them into one, and made it to what we're doing now.
Obviously, it's paid off. You're 5-1, have played very well. The only loss is to Ferry, where I know you guys felt you could have played better. But in the long run, of still being 5-1, things haven't changed. I've read some things in the paper where your kids have won, but you've still been disappointed with some certain things. So there's still not some complacency there, is there?
We're definitely not complacent, and like I say every week, there's different things that we could be working on. And our goal each week is to play our best game. Get better, work hard in practice, and I say it every week. And people probably get tired of me saying it, but control what you can control. Control your attitude. Control how hard you can work. We can't control the quality of our opponent, what the officials call, the weather. We can't worry about those things. We got to worry about what we can control, and that's our attitude and how hard we work. And I thought there was a little stretch of a couple weeks there, the Tyler Consolidated and Harrison weeks, where we didn't work quite as hard as we could have in practice. And I think it showed up a little bit in our games. We got back last week. I thought we had a good week of practice, and hopefully we get that again this week.
Talking about that win last week at UL. Obviously, Caesar throws it all, run a lot. Kyle Copeland, very good quarterback. Obviously lacking a little bit of the running game. So tell me what you guys did to get ready to go down to UL.
We knew that they were going to be able to throw the ball. We knew we were going to give up some yards, and our mantra all week was get to the next play. Get to the next play. He's going to scramble around. He's going to complete some balls. We're going to have good coverage. We're going to make some plays. Get to the next play. And when the field started to shorten, we'd seen that they were struggling, and we knew that if we continued to play solid defense, we could create some turnovers. That was our feeling going in, and those things proved to play out. Early on they completed a big pass, and Kyle Minger chased the kid down, caught him at the 4, and we held him. So that was our thing. They're going to make some plays. We got to get to the next play though, and I thought our defense did that. We got some hits. We mixed in some pressure, and we dropped a lot into coverage, and it ended up working out for us. We knew that Union Local was a good team. I don't think their record indicates how good they were, and we knew that defensively that they were going to bring it. That was the first time this year that we've been stopped on our first series. We haven't scored on the first series.
Really?
Yeah, we were 5 for 5, and I hadn't told anyone that. None of our coaches, I didn't want to jinx it, but so it was never talked about. I just knew that we'd scored every opening possession, and we didn't last week. But we knew that their defense was aggressive, and I thought they did a good job.
What have you liked so far out of your offense over the 6 weeks?
The number one thing is we spread it around. I think it's very hard to key on one person. Obviously, we have a few kids that make plays, but just like last Friday night, 2 more kids scored scored their first touchdowns, and I think we've had 11 kids score touchdowns now. So we're spreading the ball around, and I think you got to defend every receiver we put on the field, every running back we put on the field, and obviously Johnny at quarterback. And we're running and passing it equally well, and taking advantage of what they give us. Harrison Central, we were able to run it. I think we only threw 6 passes that night, and then Last week we threw 25. So, we like to be balanced and take advantage of whatever the defense gives us, and we've been able to do that this year. So I've been very happy with that, and us playing fast. We're about trying to play fast, and where defense is down, I think we've been able to do that.
Talk about the defensive side of the ball, what you've liked so far.
We're playing physical. We're running to the ball. We've had some assignment mistakes and some of those things. Harrison Central, we weren't real happy with some things that we were doing, but I like the fact that we're running and we're being real physical. We're finishing off tackles, we're finishing off plays, and just like I said, we're trying to get to the next play. The other night I was happy that they said we didn't give in. We didn't let our energy level drop. We played full speed, and we've played full speed every week. Like I said, I know after the Tyler and Harrison games I wasn't happy, and I think it came back to, it wasn't our Friday night effort, it was during the week what we had done, and I think some of those things played out on Friday night, and so we've played hard though every game. Our defense has been physical, and so I've been happy with the way we're running the ball and playing our physicality.
All right, you've got St. C this week, and obviously difference is you get them 6 weeks later than you have in the past, and obviously they like to spread the ball around. Kinnick back there is a really good quarterback, but obviously he has a few more weapons than you all does with Stevenson back and Monterosso, and you can kind of run the list. So
right.
Is the basic scheme kind of the same with UL? Kids' defensive assignments, staying in the lanes, do what they have to do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, or schematically will be the same because they do have a running game.
Yeah.
I think they desire to do this to move the ball the way that we desire to, and that's spreading it out. They run some no huddle. They'll pass it. Same thing. They have a lot of weapons. We talk a lot about Monterosso, but they throw it to anyone. I mean, it's not, well, they're going to throw it to him 20 times. They're going to throw it to him 6 or 7 times. They're going to throw it to Zeps, 6 or 7 times. They're going to spread it around, and he runs the ball. They're different this year. They're not in the eye nearly as much, and they're running Kinnick a lot more this year. And like I said, they desire to move the ball similar to us. The running back will run it. They will run the ball out of their spread, and then they'll throw it. So it makes it very tough to defend. That's obviously why we do it. We think it's very tough to defend, and we're seeing somewhat of a mirror image of ourselves, and they have a lot of weapons and a lot of speed. So yeah, we're going to have to be assignment perfect, and we're going to talk a lot about not giving up the extra yardage, not letting the 5-yard slant turn into a 40-yard gain like it did. Their opening play against Indian Creek last week was, ended up being a big play. He kind of like a 5-yard pass and turned into a 40-yard gain. So we need to limit those plays.
It's my pleasure again to be with Coach Reno, Steubenville Big Red, 6-0 on the season, and getting ready for a big week. First real road trip of the season, and first team from Ohio that you've played so far this year. And Coach, I appreciate you taking the time. I know this is a hectic week for you, as all weeks are during the season, but as you prepare your guys, is the idea of going on the road something that you spend any extra time on, particularly going to a hostile environment?
I didn't know McKeesport was on the road game.
Well, it was kind of a neutral site.
Oh, okay. No, there's no place like Massillon. I mean, it's just, I feel it's the cathedral of high school football. No matter what area you go to, I mean, they do things first class. They want to be the best at whatever they do. And they got a great program, not just football, but academics, athletics. They're number one in a lot of things, and it's just going to be a great opportunity for us.
And the Tigers are 5-1. They dropped their opener to Buckdale. Apparently made a quarterback change after that first game. They got a kid now by the name of Kemps, who's sophomore, 6'5", 190, and they've come on strong the last 5 weeks and won their last 5. And as you look at Massillon, what do you see on film from watching the Tigers?
Well, actually, he came in the 18th play of the Stowe game, and he's been the quarterback since the 18th play of the Stowe game.
You sure it was the 18th play, not the 17th?
18th play. It was the 18th play of the Stowe game. And he's been in there since then. He's a bigger, stronger kid. Number 10 he had some pretty nice feet, and he didn't mind getting after it, running the ball. Right now, this quarterback will run if he has to, but he has a very strong arm, and he's pretty accurate with his passes.
And then one of the guys he likes to look for is Devin Smith, who's a senior, 6'3", 185, returns kicks, runs back punts. I think he's verbally committed to Ohio State, I believe, but obviously someone you're going to have to keep your eye on.
Well, Smith and Olak are back from last year, and Smith is committed to Ohio State, like you said, and Olak is committed to Pitt. That's probably the two most well-known names, and other than that, I know numbers. I know 21 is a game breaker. He just doesn't get the ink that the other two get. 32 is a very strong back. 24 is a very strong back. They got two real good tailbacks. They switch up their fullbacks off and on. Real good tight end. But, you know, the hub of their offense is centered around the two wideouts. And I think that's why the other kids have so much success, because most of the people are focusing on those two.
And as you get ready, I'm sure this is a week where you're working even harder than you usually work, but, you know, from your standpoint, what do your kids have to do to go up to Stark County and come home with a victory?
Well, number one, we have to protect the football. And anytime you go into a game like this, or McKeesport, games like that, you have to protect the football. And although we didn't play very good against McKeesport, we did a good job protecting the football. So number one, that's the main thing we have to do. Number two, you have to keep in mind, never leave your basics, never leave your fundamentals, because anytime you hear somebody say, well, we have to go back and get back to fundamentals, if you never leave your fundamentals, you never have to get back to them. So we have to block, we have to tackle, and we have to protect the football. Those are the fundamentals of football. We have to do that, and number one, that'll keep us in the game. Number two, that won't give them any yardage that they shouldn't have. But number one, that's the first thing we have to do. Second thing we have to do is we have to maintain field position with our offense. We can't expect to score every time we get the ball, but we have to maintain field positions. By that, we have to get 1 or 2 first downs before we punt. If we can maintain good field position, our defense plays solid defense, then maybe we'll have a chance or get a couple opportunities where that'll be the third point, take advantage of opportunities. So that's the game plan in my mind. It doesn't mean it's the only game plan we could possibly have, but I think football is a simple game. We don't want to get too complicated, and that's as simple as I can state.